Hey everybody, welcome to the Cliff Yates Show. We actually live here on YouTube, and I wanted to let me cut right to the chase. The Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy, Mallorca, Spain. Is it worth it? And the bottom line is yes, it is well worth it. Is it expensive? Yes. It's relatively expensive, but not out of reach. It's expensive. You get more than you paid for sure. It's top of the line, top notch tennis academy. I think from myself. Now, I went to a tennis and fitness week, which runs, so you check in on a Sunday, check out on a Sunday, the next Sunday, and the tennis, fitness, and academy program runs from that Monday to Saturday. And I stayed right there at the tennis academy because they have a hotel right there at the Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy in Mallorca, Spain. Now, I was talking to a lot of my friends on my local tennis club here in Florida, and I was telling them about my experience, and they said, I didn't even know that was a thing. And yes, it is a thing, and I first became aware of it about 5 years ago. My wife and I were at the U.S. Open in New York, and they actually had a booth set up in the outskirts of the stadiums there in New York, the Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy. And so they gave me the information. I said, yeah, of course you can get, I think at the time you had to have a group of 6, a minimum of 6 to go to the academy. And at the time, I think it was around, $11 or $1,200, something of that nature. But of course, that doesn't include your airfare to the academy in Spain. So I always had it in the back of my mind that I would love to go to this. And I am, believe me, of a low-level tennis player. I didn't start playing tennis until I was 59 years old. So now 66. And so, I mean, on a good day, maybe a mediocre 3-5 player. So believe me, any level can go to the Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy. They have all the in-house programs and all sorts of programs. And the facility is humongous, not overcrowded, but, I mean, just top of the line. Mallorca, Spain. So I had it in my mind that I would like to do this. And then the years go by, and of course COVID years go by, and then my wife had signed up this year to go to Mallorca, Spain, of all places, on a bike trip, on a ladies' bike group. They were going to Mallorca, and my wife said, hey, you always want to go to the Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy. Why don't you go this year while I'm going to the bike trip? And so I thought, because she was going for a week, well, let me look into it. And if you go to the Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy by Movie Star, and you can see all the different programs they have. Because initially I signed up for the wrong program. It was a paddle. So they have a paddle program similar to pickleball, but it's different. And it's in like a cage type thing. And so they had a paddle program, but they have the tennis and fitness program, which I signed up for. And when I got to the academy, we were at a meeting at the beginning of the week before you do anything, and the group leader was picking some people out that had come for a 3-day program. They were in the wrong place. So apparently they have 3-day programs you could go to, and I was there for the full week tennis and fitness program combined. And so so they have all sorts of programs, and I know they have a competitive program where they teach you competitive strategies on, court position and competing in tournaments. And I talked to a guy from London who was in that program. So they have all sorts of programs there at the academy. So my tennis and fitness program was around, it's give or take a couple $100, $2,000. That's about it. But that covers the whole week, your stay at the academy. Some people were not actually staying right there at the Rafa Nadal Academy, which is on the island of Mallorca, but it's in Manacor. And I was staying right there in the academy. Now, you could cut down your cost by several $100s if you'll share the room with another player. Either go with a buddy, or you can hook up with somebody and share the room. The rooms are ginormous because mine was for 2 people. Initially, my wife was going to stay with me there at the academy, so the rooms are big. And nice closet, 2 big closet areas so that you can, put all your tennis equipment there and get prepared for your training for the week. And so it's really nice. And if you can, knowing Rafa Nadal and his OCDC, obsessive compulsiveness, I mean, everything was spotless clean. And I mean, they're vacuuming the floors of the hotel floor just every couple hours, and it's just clean and spotless. So I took some notes about. Now the tough part is getting there. So it was really it was a hellacious trip, just because we were at our summer place on an island, upstate New York. So we have to get to fly there. We definitely got to get to JFK. So we're in upstate New York. So we have to get on a boat, get to the mainland, get in our car, drive 2 hours to the Syracuse airport, where then we fly to JFK, and then we had a 6-hour. Now I'm sure we could have arranged better flying times and connections for a lot quicker, but we went with the cheapest route. So here we go. We go to JFK, 6-hour layover, and then it's an 8-hour flight to Germany, and then we had another 5-hour layover. Then it was a 2-hour flight over to Mallorca. So Palma, Mallorca, you fly right into the island, and so we were up about 30 hours. So I mean, I think you can probably fly. Well, either way, I mean, we had to get to JFK. So, and I don't think we could have flown directly into Mallorca. We would have had to fly we flew into Germany, but there may be something a little bit closer. But it was pretty close, a couple hours from Frankfurt, Germany, to Mallorca. But it was a hellacious airport, because we fly in one terminal, then to get to another terminal to get to Mallorca, we had to basically leave the terminal get on a tram bus. It takes us to the whole other side of the airport in Frankfurt, Germany, and then a long haul to our next gate. But we made it. We made it up 30 hours, and the good thing is we got there on a Saturday, so we stayed overnight in a Hilton Honors before we were I had to check in at the Rafa Nadal Academy on Sunday, and so then you basically have Sunday off, and then Monday there's a meeting. So, and I'll tell you how it goes when you get there. So the facility, so we get there finally, and the facility is just amazing, right? When you first get there, you check in, and you go to there's a check-in desk like a hotel, and then you go to the sports desk, and you tell them what program you're in. They look you up, and you get a gift bag, has a couple of caps in it, some tennis balls, and a drink thing with a Rafa Nadal, logo and thing. Really nice stuff. So you get a little gift bag. And the whole facility there's 4 restaurants on this facility. This is how big this place is. It has let me go to this scene here. So there's like one of the main courts, and there's 19 hard courts, and it seems like there's 20, 30 red clay courts, and then there's paddleball courts. So here you can see there's a picture of the Rafa Nadal has a museum there. And I didn't even get to go to the museum. Part of your program includes a ticket into the museum. And here's one of the main courts. It's kind of in the center. So up on this level, there's a little coffee shop, and then there is the U.S. Open Cafe up on here. And you can sit outside and eat and overlook this court, and you can see all these other courts. And then this is called the clubhouse back here on the back side of that course. So that's like, they have sandwiches and soups and what, I mean, it's a little cafe is what it is. And then there's a little cafeteria, which is on the back side behind this museum thing. So you have a lot of tennis courts, clay, hard, paddleball courts. There's a soccer field, and he has a sports shop where they have tennis, racket stringers. When I went in, there was 3 to 4 stringers going to town, man. They were busy. And then they have all this apparel that's pretty reasonably priced. It's not Rafa Nadal apparel. And you can also buy rackets, and I decided to rent a racket. Now, most people suggested that I bring my racket. It's no problem flying with a tennis racket. But I decided to rent a racket because I didn't want to deal with the hassle of the TSA going through from Syracuse to JFK to Frankfurt, Germany, over to Mallorca. And at some point, who knows if they're going to hassle you over your tennis racket. And so I decided to rent a racket, and it was a good racket, and you can rent it. It was like $8 a day. So it cost me like, I don't know, like $55 to $56 to rent this racket for the 6 or 7 days that I rented it. And it was fine. And so this is how your day is structured at the academy, at least in the program that I was in, the fitness and tennis program. So Monday, you have a little meeting, and they tell you how the week's going to go. And from there, you go down to the fitness center. And then two guys, and, bravo to the guys at the Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy. They are such fantastic guys. And so they're in our fitness group. We had about, I'd say 12. It might have been 12 to 14 people. And so we did all sorts of, these guys are no joke. I worked out a lot, but it wasn't brutal, but it was really, it pushed me. First of all, I wasn't used to doing those kinds of exercises that really are to complement your tennis game. So really focusing on your core and those kind of things, lower body, kind of shoulder stretching, and just things that are going to complement the kind of muscles and body movements that you're going to use in tennis. So you start your day, starts at 9 o'clock, and you get down to and you go right to a treadmill or a bike, and you do 5 minutes of warm-up. Then you go into a room, and then there's like little circuits. And so for the next hour, we rotate doing these different stations. And it's boom, 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 boom for the whole hour. So you're getting a heck of a workout as you're doing these different movements, and they explain kind of what the purpose of the movements are. Now, after that hour is up, it's 10 o'clock. Now your tennis training is scheduled at 10:30. So you have about 15, 20 minutes. Some people would go upstairs and shower and then change clothes and then go to the tennis courts, which is it's a good 5, 6, 7 minute walk just from the main where the rooms are. So then you walk to the tennis courts, and then on your first day there was about 24 in our group, Tennis and Fitness Week, 24. So then they get 4 to a court, and you just start hitting for about 20 minutes. And then based on that 20 minutes, all the coaches just kind of decide, what level you're at, and then they group people pretty similar into the level. So at my level, I had like 2 guys who were probably, maybe a click above me, and then there was a young lady, she was maybe a click below me, but we were all kind of even. And so we were all about the 3-5 level. Like I said, on a good day, I'm a good 3-5er. And so I wouldn't go to this place if you were a beginner. But if you got a couple years under your belt, then I would do it, regardless of your level. I would definitely do it. The people you're going to meet are just so supportive, and the coaches. So basically, once they've broken you up, then your core 4, there's never more than 4 people to a coach, which I thought was great until you're doing some of these drills. And that's what I was hoping. I wish there was more in our group because, we're rotating into these drills. And then these tennis coaches are no joke. These guys and gals are top-notch tennis coaches, if you can imagine. I imagine to qualify to even be a tennis coach at the Rafa Nadal Academy, you've got to be in such competitive shape. And these guys and gals could definitely teach. And so every time, that's your first day, and you do a lot of drills and instruction. Now you go to your second day, do your fitness. And now when you go to the courts, then they have a big whiteboard, and they say, okay, today we're gonna work on these 2 things, right? This is a defensive move. This is an offensive move. And then they demonstrate it to you. So they demonstrate how you should be conducting these drills. Then you go to your court, and then you have your coach. 1 coach, 4 of you. And then, so the tennis is, the fitness, 1 hour in the morning. And then a half hour later, you go to your tennis, which is 2 hours. So 10:30 to 12:30. And you're pretty spent after your tennis session. So you go through your normal drills, coach is watching you, instructing you, and he'll discuss a little bit with you, and then they demonstrate, and then you start doing it. And then near the end of your 2 hours, you're going to spend about 20 minutes practicing some serves. And then for about 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to play some games between the four of you. And that's the end of your day. And you do that for 6 days, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 6 days. Like I said, you check in on Sunday and you're going to check out the following Sunday if you're doing this week program. And like I said, there's other programs. They have 3-day programs, paddleball programs. And so you go to the website, Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy by Movie Star. You can look at the different programs and maybe based on your budget, decide what you're going to do. But I want to do a little review of my experience there at the Academy just because before I even made the decision to pull the trigger, I found a YouTube video that really explained kind of the same things that I've been explaining. And but that young man showed some great videos. So I knew, wow, this is something that I can do at my level and that I'm really going to enjoy. Now, it was kind of intimidating, to be going by myself, even though I'm full of self-confidence. If you've been to my podcast or on the YouTube channel, then you know I'm all about motivation, inspiration, self-confidence, leadership. But hey, when you're going into a new situation, the unknown. So actually, after the first day, just knowing how the program is structured, you're automatically more settled. And at least for me, I was. And so every night at dinner, I started meeting up with these guys that, I'm pretty shy when it comes to these situations and not immediately outgoing and meeting people. But these guys from London, they are part of a tennis club in London, and they brought over 20 people all together. But of course, they're only a 2-hour flight away from Mallorca, so it's easy for them to come. And many of them have come 2-3 years in a row, and they love it, and they all know each other. And then and now after you have in the morning, the hour fitness center, and then your 2 hours of tennis, then you have the rest of the day free. Now, you can make court reservations. If you're by yourself, you get an hour free court time. You just make the reservation. Or if you hook up with somebody in another room, then you can get 2 hours of court time. And now, if you're roommates with somebody, then you and the roommate only get the 1 hour. But if you and the other person are in separate rooms, then you get a 2-hour free court reservation. So you can do so. And I did that once, but that was actually too much. The fitness hour and the 2 hours of tennis was enough for my day. But after that, you have free time where you could go down to the fitness center, and they got an Olympic-sized pool and just top-of-the-line equipment, so you can get a great workout in. And they activate your card for the fitness center. They give you a nice towel. You go in, everything's top of the line equipment and free weights, a lot of treadmills and elliptical machines, bikes, and a fitness room with all sorts of bands and balls and pulleys and everything you would need for your training. And so that's how the week went. And the instructors, top of the line, everybody there is so welcoming, friendly. And like I was saying, the first day you have the front meeting, they tell you exactly how it's going to go, take any and all questions, explain everything to you. Service at all of the places to eat, top notch. And not everything's 100% healthy, but most things are healthy. You can tell they're freshly prepared there at the academy. And it's just a huge place. And you can kind of, as I bring up some of these pictures here, you can kind of get a feeling of just how enormous it actually is. It's, if I make this bigger here, you can see in here is really, there's a school. So there's a school up there on the right-hand side. There's a school from 7th grade to 12th grade. So it's a full-fledged school all the way through high school. You could graduate there with a high school diploma, and then from there, most of the students end up going to universities in the United States to play tennis, or if they're that advanced, they go into the resident program to become a pro there at the academy, which somebody was saying at dinner that it was 200 grand. I don't know for the year, but I saw online it said 60,000. But so I'm sure it's extremely expensive, where you would need a sponsor, and you'd have to be at such a level that the promise of return on your investment would be there. But just a tremendous facility, and so it's just big, huge, clean, top of the line, full service. Everything's great. So you have the sports shop where you can get your rackets restringed or strung. You can rent a racket. You can buy that apparel that's not overly expensive. But then there's also the right in this main part here. This is the main. We enter the door right here in this big round thing. Right in there is the desk, and behind the desk is a shop. That's really the Rafa Nadal signature apparel shop. So everything that has Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy logo on it, Rafa Nadal, water bottles, shirts, blouses, skirts, shorts, cover tops, and those are pretty expensive. But so it was true when I first watched the video when I was deciding whether to go or not. The young man who did an excellent job said in his video, he said, well, you're going to buy incidentals that are probably going to be around $300. You're going to go into the shop, you're going to buy some stuff for yourself. You're probably going to buy a gift or two, and you're going to do that through the week, and it's probably going to be a couple hundred to a few $100s. Now, the program itself, so when I say $2,000, that got me my room for the week, got me the tennis and fitness program, and it includes breakfast in the morning, which is a full-service breakfast. I mean, it's buffet style, but they have everything from eggs, scrambled bacon, pork, oatmeals, cereals, fruits, and bananas, and everything, avocado, and so toast, coffees, espressos, juices, and so that's included every day in your package. So all in all, I mean, not that expensive if you figure. I mean, if you spend at a hotel $200 a night for 6 nights, that's $1,200. You're getting breakfast every morning, 6 days of breakfast. If you spent $20, right, it's another $100. So, you know what? It was well worth it. And so, relatively expensive to go to the Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy, but not out of reach. And you get what you pay for. The hard part is getting there. Now, I talked to several of the coaches who were asking me, they were saying, well, we're going to San Diego next week, and then after that, we go to San Francisco, and then in a couple months, I'm going to Orlando. So they actually take this Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy on the road into the United States. So you can go into the program. I don't know if it has fitness associated with it, because they go to the hotels, I imagine, or near a tennis club or facility. But definitely they have brought this, so they definitely were going to California, these coaches. They were definitely going to Florida, Orlando to do these programs. So you can go to the Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy by Movie Star, look at the programs, and you're going to find some in the USA that you could go and attend. So, and I would be interested to know what that experience is like in the U.S. as opposed to being right there at the academy. So I'm so glad that I ended up at the actual tennis academy in Mallorca, and the island is unbelievably beautiful. I didn't get a lot of chance to explore the island, but my wife did, of course. She's on a bike trip, so she's traveling up these crazy roads in Mallorca with her women's bike group. Unbelievable pictures, and there's a lot of videos online. It's gotten the name as the bicycle bike paradise is Mallorca, Spain, right? So a lot of bike groups go to Mallorca, and they go on these bike, and they're pretty advanced, these bike groups. I mean, there's a lot of hills in Mallorca, Spain. Some are unbelievable, some not so. It's amazing. So that's my experience, everybody, and so I had a great time. Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy. I'm also going to make this a podcast episode. So please, if you're watching and or listening on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. And if you think somebody else might be interested in this, please share it with them. And if you're listening on one of the podcast platforms, hey, subscribe to the show, because you know what it does? It tells the computer, hey, somebody's interacting with the show. We need to show this to more people. And so we can make this into a lesson of our motivation, inspiration, personal growth podcast by saying, hey, listen, step out of your comfort zone. This was out of my comfort zone to go and do this. Something I had in my mind to do. It was a dominating thought for many years to go to the Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy. But it came to pass that there was an opportunity to go, and I pulled the trigger on it several times, because you have 24 hours and you can actually cancel your trip at the academy. And so several times I really thought about doing it, because do I want to travel? I don't know anybody. I'm going by myself, except for the plane ride with my wife over there. I don't know anybody there. It's going to be it's like anybody my level. And so listen, whatever your level is, go. I say, if you're a total beginner, maybe wait a while. But I talked to a coach and he goes, even if you're a total beginner and you're going to slow a group up, they will actually give you one-on-one. They'll put a coach with you by yourself to coach you. So they are top of the line. You paid, and they pay attention. And so it's a great program. As I said from the outset, Rafa Nadal Tennis Academy, is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. Expensive relatively, but you get what you pay for, and it's a great experience. I loved it. May go back with a group, but probably not. If a group wanted to go, I would go. It would be really fun to go with a group. I know the guys that go from London, they go with a group of 20. They have a great time, and that's why they keep going back. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, everybody. It's going to be on the podcast also, but I'll see you at the next episode.